afternoon, whichever one you guys want to say. So yeah, guys. So welcome to Crystal's World Live. So as you all know, I've always said that I don't do a lot of like celebrity talk, celebrity situations, but every now and again, something may come up, and I may discuss something dealing with a celebrity, y'all. So today is one of those days. I watched the interview earlier with Nick Cannon on The Breakfast Club. I watch The Breakfast Club all the time. And he shared that he was, I'm getting right into it. I'm getting right into it. If anybody come in, welcome, welcome, welcome. I probably won't greet you right away because I just want to get all this out. I really do. Because, this world, this word, narcissist, narcissism, and all that's been going around for a while. I've seen on social media, so many people say it's a made up word. No, it's not a made up word. Of course, I think we know that by now. And for the people that still think it's a made up word, like literally just look it up. And it's not a made up word. It's really a thing. So anywho, like I was stating, I watched him on the interview talk about this, and he shared that he was diagnosed with being a narcissist. And so Charlemagne was like, and I don't want to play the clip because I don't know how it goes. I don't know if I even can play a clip from the Breakfast Club. So I'm just going to talk about it, guys. That's the safer way for me. The safer way for me is to just talk about it. I'm not going to play a clip. As you come in, please like the live. Like the live. I would greatly appreciate it. And so like I was stating, he shared that he was diagnosed with being a narcissist. So Charlemagne says to him, what? Like he couldn't believe it. Charlemagne was like, what? Because Charlemagne was under the impression that only people who lack empathy and people who have rage are the only people that are narcissists. So Nick educated him and was letting him know, no. Because or Charlemagne said to him, like, well, I look at you and I'm like, Nick don't have rage and Nick don't, he don't lack empathy. So Nick lets him know, no, like basically Nick said, I have 3 therapists. Nick said he has 3 therapists, like for 3 different, things. But anywho, basically with talking to his therapist and, everything being evaluated, he was in fact diagnosed with being a narcissist. So yeah, I really, felt touched by that. Well, shout out to Nick Cannon for even being vulnerable enough to share that with the world. And like he talked about in the interview, he's at that age where, he's okay with doing that. He's okay with doing that. It's not easy for people to get on a platform and be vulnerable. Trust me, I know. And I understand why, because everybody not with it. Everybody is just not with it, child. It is what it is, okay? So because of that, I went down a rabbit hole. I'm like, people are so quick to call other people narcissists because they think it's just one thing. When it's not just one thing. It's not just lack of empathy. It's not just having rage. That is part of it. But it's way more characteristics and way more traits that you can have to be labeled as being a narcissist. So of course, I'm looking everything up, and I feel like I want to come on here and share that, because we can't be so quick. We shouldn't be so quick to call someone else a narcissist when we probably carry some of those traits ourselves. It ain't just 1 or 2 things. It's a lot of things that you could be probably labeled, as being a narcissist. I mean, hey, we got to take a look in the mirror sometimes. Like when I was looking at everything, I was like, I've definitely done some of these things before. Now some of these things that I'm getting ready to talk about, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're a narcissist. However, if it's a repeated behavior, then yes, you are in fact probably, exude narcissist behavior. Let's not be so quick to call someone else a narcissist when we probably carry some of those traits ourselves. Like again, for myself, I take a look in the mirror myself and be like, when I look at all these, different patterns and traits, I probably have done that myself, right? All right, so let me just go ahead down this rabbit hole real quick. I'm going to go down this rabbit hole. I'm going to talk about it. Let's do it. Okay, so some common narcissistic traits you might notice in people who show narcissistic behavior patterns. Not necessarily a clinical diagnosis. Not necessarily a clinical diagnosis. Grandiosity. Grandiosity is one. Exaggerated sense of self-importance, believing they're better than others. Right? Hey, Real Eyes, welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me know if you can hear me. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. I already started talking about the conversation. I'm just gonna go down what I'm talking about, and then we can discuss if you're still here. So yeah, another PowerPoint. Constant need of admiration, craving excessive attention, praise, or validation. Another one, lack of empathy. I already talked about that. Like Charlemagne was telling Nick, he told Nick, I thought only narcissistic people had lack of empathy and rage. No, it's way more, way more. It's way more traits to being a narcissist. And I just really thought this conversation was interesting. And again, shout out to Nick Cannon for being vulnerable and not worrying about, what people were going to say about it. You get what I'm saying? Shout out to Nick Cannon for being vulnerable on letting the whole world know that he was diagnosed with being a narcissist, right? Okay, so another one is, lack of empathy. Difficulty recognizing or caring about other people's feelings. That's the main one that people know, but it's way more. Entitlement is another PowerPoint. Expecting special treatment or believing rules don't apply to them. Like, y'all know a lot of people like that. I know we know a lot of people like that. Exploitativeness. Using others to achieve their own goals without regard for impact. Wow. Arrogance. Displaying superior or condescending attitudes. How many people like that, child? Preoccupation with success, power, or beauty. Obsessing over status, achievements, or appearance. Another PowerPoint. Fragile self-esteem. Easily hurt by criticism despite appearing confident. I can admit that I've definitely been that. I will admit, let's take a look in the mirror at our own self, and things that we may have traits of narcissistic behavior does not necessarily mean you're a narcissist, right? But it's just, going down this rabbit hole of some traits that, hey, check yourself, right? Manipulativeness. Woo! Twisting situations or people to serve their own needs. When I tell you, I've experienced this recently, and that's all I'm going to say about that, baby. Envy. Feeling envious of others or believing others envy them. Woo, child. Woo, child. Woo, child. Okay. So, again, like I stated before, having some of these traits does not necessarily make someone a narcissist. But if it's a consistent pattern of behaviors across time and relationships, yes. Okay, so let's see. We're going to keep going here. We're going to keep going here, guys. I want to get all this out. All right, so like different types of narcissism. Overt, grandiose narcissism. Outwardly confident, loud, and attention seeking. Brags about achievements or status. Seeks admiration openly. Can be aggressive or domineering. Traits: arrogance, entitlement, and grandiosity. That's number one. Number two, covert, vulnerable narcissism. Appears shy, sensitive, and introverted on the surface. Okay, second PowerPoint to that. Struggles with low self-esteem but still feels entitled inside. Plays the victim or uses guilt to get attention. More subtle, manipulative approach. Traits: hypersensitivity to criticism, passive aggressiveness, and envy. Here's an example. Someone who downplays others' achievements but frames themselves as always being overlooked or unappreciated. Okay. Number three, communal narcissism. Gains self-worth through being seen as generous, helpful, or moral. Woo! Wow. Y'all. The second PowerPoint to communal narcissism. wants recognition for being the most caring or the most giving, can appear selfless but actually seeks admiration. Traits: performative kindness, superiority through good deeds. Okay. Okay, another example is someone who brags about all the charity work they do and expects constant praise for it. Malignant narcissism, most toxic form. Mix of narcissism, aggression, and antisocial traits. That's a PowerPoint to that malignant narcissism. Can be manipulative, cruel, and controlling. Woo, child. Lacks remorse, may enjoy others' suffering. Woo. Mm-mm-mm. Traits: exploitation, sadism, paranoia, and hostility. Example: someone who deliberately sabotages others, lies easily, and feels no guilt. Oh my gosh, y'all. When I tell y'all, whew, I'm learning something myself here. Okay, I'm learning something myself. Let's see what so real I say, hey Crystal One, hello. You better tell it. It's a whole lot of hold up social media because hold on. Real I said you better tell it. It's a whole lot of that on social media, but especially on here. Absolutely. Just listen. This is why I felt it was another reason why I felt it was imperative to talk about it, Real Eyes, because so many people are so quick to call other people narcissists when they exude some of these traits as well. Like, don't count yourself out. I'm putting myself in the mix too. I'm putting myself in the mix too. I'm not just talking about others. We just never know some traits we may have that may not necessarily mean that we are uh, ourselves, but some of the traits could definitely be that, right? Hello, pretty lady. I'm glad that I can make your live. I got off work a little. Oh, thank you, Sassy SE. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Hello, Crystal. Hey, Bree Bree. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so it says, so while core traits, entitlement, lack of empathy, need for validation stay the same, they show up differently depending on the type. Also give you everyday examples of how they. Yes, I sure do. Let's go with some everyday examples. Let's go with some everyday examples. Okay. So here are some everyday examples that could be, in being a narcissist, y'all. Here are some everyday examples. So listen. Here are some in friendships. In friendships. One-sided conversations. They dominate the talk. Rarely listen to you. They dominate the talk and rarely listen to you. This is in friendships. Competition. 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 PSA. Competition. PSA. Competition. They downplay your accomplishments or try to one up you. And guess what? Let me just expound on that. I feel like people do that. Like Real Life said, a lot of that is definitely on this internet. But this is my thing: when people be competing with others who ain't competing with them, it be all in their mind. Like for someone like me, it's always me versus me. I ain't competing with nobody. But people have secret competition with you when you don't have competition with them. You ain't like, you just not a competitive person. I get it. This is, I guess, for some people, YouTube is a competitive, like whatever. Some people are very competitive. But my thing with that is, go find people to be competitive with you that want to be competitive with you back. That's all I'm saying when it comes to that. You can be competitive all you want, but go to where people want to be competitive back with you. Leave people alone that don't care to be competitive. Like, I'm just saying. Lack of support. They're absent when you need help, but expect you to show up for them. Clock that T. Clock that T. They expect for you to be there every single time. Every single time. Like, come on now. We are adults here, most of us anyway. You're not going to be somewhere all the time, every day, all the time. That's just what it is. My God. Guilt trips, manipulations. This is all in friendships. This is the last one for friendships. If you set boundaries, they make you feel selfish. Oh, my lands. Oh, my lands. My God, my God, my God. Child. Example, you tell them good news about a promotion and they respond by bragging about their own success instead of congratulating you. Yeah. Or they congratulate you but still end up bringing it back to themselves. Or they congratulate you and still end up bringing it back to themselves. It'd be like that sometimes as well. In family, this is a good one. In family, oh my gosh, here we go, y'all. In family, listen, here are some. Golden child, scapegoat dynamics. Some family members get praised, others criticized constantly. Oh wow. Woo child, control, making decisions for you, ignoring your opinions. Yeah, I can. Yep, that's definitely one. Someone else trying to make decisions for your life. When okay, you could go to them for advice, but that don't mean you want them to make the decision. You can't tell me what to do with my life. You just can't. Invalidation, dismissing your feelings with "you're too sensitive" or "you're overreacting." How many times have y'all heard that from people? How many times have you heard that from people? Conditional love, affection, only when you meet their expectations. Wow. Woo. Woo, 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 woo. Oh my gosh. Oh, welcome, welcome, Irish Jimmy. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. Okay. The next one, in dating and marriage. In dating and marriage. Love bombing. Love bombing. Thank you for the hearts, Jimmy. I appreciate you. But I'm in here talking my stuff right now. Then I'll get to the chat, okay? Thank you so much. But in dating and marriage, love bombing. At first, overwhelming affection, gifts, and attention. These are traits of narcissist behaviors. Again, in dating and marriage, love bombing. At first, overwhelming affection, gifts, and attention. Devaluation. Later, criticism, blame, or withdrawal of affection when you don't meet their needs. Gaslighting, making you doubt your memory or feelings by saying things like "that never happened" or "you're crazy." How many times have you heard that? Control, possessiveness, isolating you from friends or monitoring your actions. The last one for that one is hot and cold behavior. Being very charming one moment, cruel the next. Woo! Oh my gosh. That could also be in friendships as well, because I've definitely experienced that. The hot and cold behavior, being very charming one moment and cruel the next. That's narcissistic behavior. An example of that is they shower you with attention at first, but once you're committed, they start tearing down your confidence, or they start changing. Or they start changing. Here's another example of every day. So this is at work. This is at work. Taking credit, using your ideas or effort as if there were theirs. Micromanaging, needing control and disregarding your input. Okay, that's a good one. Exploiting, expecting you to do extra work without recognition. And the last PowerPoint for that one is undermining, pointing out your mistakes publicly while hiding their own. Woo! It's a lot of that, baby. It's a lot of that. Okay, so that pattern is key. Narcissists tend to use people as tools for validation, control, or status, whether in friendships, family, love, or work. Did y'all hear that? Narcissists tend to use people as tools for validation, control, or status, whether in friendships, family, love, or work. Clock the T, y'all. Clock the T. Yes, absolutely. We're gonna look at some red flags. We're gonna look at some red flags. Let's keep this thing going. We're gonna look at some red flags here. Warning signs of narcissistic behavior. We already kind of talked about this, but this is the actual red flags. Love bombing or over the top charm. They shower you with praise, gifts, or attention very quickly. And it feels too good to be true at the start. Okay, y'all, let's keep it real now. Example, and it may be unintentional. It may be unintentional. I'm just stating the facts. I'm just stating the facts. Example, someone you just met already says you're the only person who truly understands me, or talks about a future together right away. So that could be possibly narcissistic behavior. Hey, it is what it is, y'all. It is what it is. Like, we just got to be real with each other. We got to be real, okay? And we got to take a look in the mirror. Again, it could be unintentional, but however, it's behaviors of being a narcissist. It just is. Number two, red flag, constantly talking about themselves. Conversation always circle back to them. They rarely ask genuine questions about you. Woo! Woo, woo, woo. My God, my God. Prime example. You share something personal about yourself and they immediately interrupt with a story about themselves. Okay, another red flag is disrespecting boundaries. Disrespecting boundaries. Pushing past your no or ignores your comfort levels. Gets annoyed gets annoyed if you need space or time alone. Gets annoyed if you need space or time alone. There should be some understanding there. You should not be upset if someone is communicating with you and letting you know they just need to be to themselves. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Number four, red flag. Quick to criticize others. Talks down about exes, co-workers, or even friends. Woo! Often blames others for problems instead of taking responsibility. Again, like I was stating, we have to take accountability for things that do happen to us, unfortunately. Like, what part did we play in whatever happened? Because guess what? As adults, we allow things to happen. We allow things to happen. I mean, it is what it is. We allow things to happen, y'all. Number five, red flag. Hot and cold behavior. Hot and cold behavior, guys. Super affectionate or supportive one moment, then distant or critical the next. Super affectionate or supportive one moment, then distant or critical the next. Hot and cold behavior. The other PowerPoint to that is keeps you guessing where you stand. Keeps you guessing where you stand. They praise you in public but belittle you in private. They praise you in public but belittle you in private. My God, my God, my God. Another red flag, sense of entitlement. Expects special treatment or favors without offering much in return. Another PowerPoint to that one is acts impatient or rude if things don't go their way. Okay, example, a friend who always expects rides or money but never helps you when you need something. That's an example of that, guys. Number seven, red flag. Gaslighting early on. Twist situations to make you question yourself. Listen. Oh my God. When I tell y'all this stuff, like, when I tell y'all, my God, this is crazy. I'm just realizing some things here. That's all. Denies things they clearly said or did. Example, you call them out on something hurtful and they respond, that never happened. You're just imagining things. Or, like it said, twist the situations to make you question yourself as if you did something wrong. Like, that's insane. And it says that if you notice these patterns consistently, chances are you're dealing with a whole narcissist in your life. If these patterns are consistent and things like that, chances are you're dealing with a narcissist. My God, guys, this I'm saying, pay attention. Would you like to tell you tips of protect? So here are some. Okay, yes, I definitely do. All right, so this is gonna be the last thing that I talk about when it comes to being a narcissist. You know, some people don't like to talk about it, and it's okay. It's okay. So, protecting yourself from narcissistic behavior. Like, this is just that conversation with Charlamagne and Nick Cannon really just opened my eyes to a lot of things. And like real, I'd say, okay, yes, this is the internet, but unfortunately, we deal with a lot of this stuff on this internet, y'all. Let's keep it real. We deal with a lot of this stuff on this platform that we're here on. And listen, just because the internet don't mean we can't set boundaries. Just because it's the internet does not mean we can't set boundaries for ourselves when we feel like we're dealing with narcissistic behavior. Like, that's just what it is, and that's just how I feel, and that's just what it is, y'all. All right, so protecting yourself from narcissistic behavior. Trust your gut. Trust your gut. If something feels off, it usually is. Women, us ladies, we have Intuition. We have intuition real good. We have intuition. We do. The second PowerPoint to trust your gut is don't dismiss your instincts when someone's behavior confuses or drains you. Let me say that again. Don't dismiss your instincts when someone's behavior confuses or drains you. Okay? Don't ignore it and don't dismiss it. You're not crazy. What you're feeling is what you're feeling. It is what it is. Like, it is what it is. What you're feeling is what you're feeling. It is what it is. All right, set clear boundaries. The first PowerPoint to that is be firm and specific. You got to let people know. I think actually Danielle was just talking about this on her live earlier, as far as letting, like, set boundaries, like I'm not available after 9 p.m. for calls, or letting them know I'm only available on this day. And like, if they don't understand that, then they just don't understand that. The second PowerPoint to that is don't over explain. Narcissistic people may argue to wear you down. Narcissistic people may argue to wear you down. The last PowerPoint to set clear boundaries is stick to consequences if they cross the line. Stick to your consequences if they cross the line. All right. Number 3, and this is a mistake I made and I wish I didn't in the past, but you live and you learn. Don't overshare. Do not overshare. Be careful with personal info. It may later be used against you. Be careful with personal info. It may later be used against you from a narcissistic person. So y'all be careful with what you share with people. Don't be so quick to trust people. You just can't be so quick to trust, especially people that you never met before in real life and never really been around. Share only what you're comfortable having thrown back in your face. Absolutely. If you share anything with anybody personal, it better be where you just don't care if it gets tossed back or if it gets talked about, because narcissistic people will throw that in your face if things don't go their way with the relationship. Number 4, stay calm and detached. Stay calm and detached. Narcissists thrive on emotional reactions. Narcissists thrive on emotional reactions. So that's something that I have to work on, because I'm an emotional person. I am, guys. I'm an emotional person. And y'all know I tell y'all that all the time. I'm willing to admit that, and that's okay. Hold on, guys. All right. So the second PowerPoint to stay calm and detached. Practice the gray rock method says. Respond in a neutral, boring way so they have less to feed on. So I guess you got to get clever with dealing with narcissists. And it's crazy. We shouldn't have to do that with, even if it's a friend or family member, whatever, it doesn't matter. You'll have to get a little creative with how dealing with them, I guess. Um, Avoid justifying, arguing, defending, or explaining yourself. Okay, the first PowerPoint to that is you don't need to prove your boundaries. Your boundaries are valid. Keep responses short and calm instead of debating. Yes. Yes, absolutely. The next one is protect your self-esteem. Protect your self-esteem. Remember, their behavior says more about them than about you. Let me say that again. Their behavior says more about them than about you. Affirm your worth outside of their approval. Affirm your worth outside of their approval. Please do that. Surround yourself with people who genuinely support you. Again, surround yourself with people who genuinely find out who your people are and surround yourself with them. I feel like genuine support is people supporting you no matter what. I'm sorry. It's not people always judging what you do. It's not people always trying to critique everything that you do. And this is just how I feel. This is my opinion, and this is how I feel. People who genuinely support you is gonna rock with you no matter what. They're not gonna make excuses to not support you. They're not gonna compare you to them to not support you. Genuine support is genuine support, and that's just how I feel about that. Number seven, limit or cut contact if needed. You definitely have to do that when dealing with narcissistic people, because you will make yourself crazy if you don't. If the relationship is too toxic, consider distancing or going low, no contact. My answer is distancing. Like, it is. I'm too old to deal with certain things, and I'm not going to deal with it. That's me. Your peace of mind is worth more than keeping someone who constantly drains you. Absolutely, 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 absolutely. Read the title, Chelsea Moore. Read the title. Read the title and listen to what I'm saying. Read the title, Chelsea. Okay, you don't come into someone's chat just asking what I'm talking about. You greet the host in a good manner. I'm talking about narcissists. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Look at the title and look at the thumbnail. Look at the title and look at the thumbnail. Um, and Chelsea says hi. Okay. Number 8 is seek support. Talk to trusted friends, a therapist, or support groups. Talk to trusted friends, a therapist, or support groups. Getting an outside perspective helps you stay grounded when gaslighting or manipulation makes you doubt yourself, right? Okay. Key thing is, the key takeaway from this is you can't change a narcissist, but you can change how much access they have to your time, energy, and emotions. And you can definitely do that. You can definitely do that. Okay? Would you like me to also put together no? So yeah, we're gonna be done with that, with the PowerPoints and things like that. But I had to come on here and talk about that, guys, because it was very interesting and very commendable of Nick Cannon. Again, shout out to Nick Cannon for even being able to be vulnerable to even like I said, tell the world that Charlemagne was very, very shocked of the fact that he was diagnosed with being a narcissist. Because again, Charlemagne thought only Charlemagne thought only people who lacked empathy and only people who have rage are considered narcissists. No, there's so many traits, so many things. There's so many traits and so many things, guys. So it's not just it's definitely not just it's definitely not just it's definitely not just those two things. It's always more to the story. Yeah, my hair is all over the place, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. But yeah, I had to come on here and talk about that. I kept the camera off for the first half, and I'm gonna bring myself on camera now. So yeah, I hope you guys got something out of this. I hope you guys got something out of this. For the people that listen to the replay, yes, it's more to being a narcissist than just being having lack of empathy, and being having rage. Those are traits as well. Those are definitely traits. I have a pimple patch on my on my face, y'all. But it's definitely more to it than, like I said, when he talked about it, I was like, wow, 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 wow. I was shocked, like Charlemagne, because like Charlemagne said, when he told him, Charlemagne said, "You a narcissist?" And Nick was like, "Yeah." With all the evaluation and everything, you know how it is when you have people that go see therapists. They have to evaluate you first before you're diagnosed with anything. You have to be evaluated first before you're diagnosed with anything. So it's not just a one thing. You have to be evaluated first. So, and I just thought that was interesting. Hello, Beena Mark. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you being here. But yeah, it's not just lack of empathy and rage, y'all. It's way more characteristics, way more things. And again, we could look at ourselves in the mirror. We could also have some of those traits ourselves. Let's not always be quick to point the finger and say that someone else is a narcissist. I'm telling you guys, I experienced that recently. People calling other people narcissists when they have a lot of those characteristics themselves. Again, let's look in the mirror at ourselves. Because one thing about me, let me admit something about me. This is the thing about a lot of people. They will not admit when it's something on them. They will not admit that. I can be dismissive when I don't want to deal with nothing. I can be dismissive. I can be very dismissive when I just don't want to deal with anything. Right? It doesn't necessarily make me a narcissist, but it's narcissistic behavior. It's narcissistic behavior. Do I do it all the time? No. It's not a all the time thing with me. It's just sometimes if I don't want to deal with something, I'm very dismissive because I just don't want to deal with it. Hey, young rancher, welcome, 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 young rancher. Thank you for being here. Um, so yeah, I can admit that about myself. Some people will never admit that they exude behavior. They'll be so quick to point the finger and just say it's always somebody else when that's not the case. It could very well be you too with narcissist behavior, y'all. Let's just keep it real. We have got to keep it real with ourselves. So yeah, so it's only when I talk about celebs, it's gonna only be what's gonna have to like be on my heart to talk about it. I'm not one of the ones that's gonna go on here and I'm not getting on here and bashing no celebrity because that's not what this is. I really said I commend Nick Cannon for being vulnerable enough to share that with the world. Like he was literally like when he said it, Charlemagne was shocked as ever because he just was shocked that not. I don't think he was shocked that he was vulnerable enough to say it. I think he was shocked that because he know Nick and he was like, Nick, I can't believe you've been dying being a narcissist. You don't you don't have rage and you don't lack empathy. And Nick told him, no, it's not just that. It's so many characteristics that you can have to be labeled a narcissist. Young Rancher said, did you make it to my live? Young Rancher, no, because if I did, I would have spoke to you. I always speak in people's lives. I am not a bush watch. I am not a bush watcher at all. If I come to your live, I'm speaking, even if I don't stay long. If I come to your live, I'm speaking, even if I don't stay long. I'm not a bush watcher. I'm not one of those. Side note, have you heard Respirations by Kirby? She is fire. No, I have not. Hi, possums. I have not dancing lobster one. But yeah, I always speak into people's lives. I'm not a bush watcher. If I come to your live, if I make it to a live, I'm speaking. I'm not one of those. But I don't knock people that don't talk. Some people just don't want to talk. I'm just telling you that's not me. I'm just telling you that's not me. Your most support is the people who's watching you, to be honest. Look how many people watch your videos but don't comment in your videos. So it's the same thing for your live streams. Same thing for your live streams. So many people watch, but they may not comment, and it's okay. It's okay. Have you heard of Epic the music on YouTube? No, I have not, Possums. I'm sorry, I haven't. Sorry. But yeah, guys, that's the only time, like, it has to touch my heart. That's the only time you're gonna like hear me talk about celebrities. I'm just not gonna be one of them ones that get on here and bash other people. That's just it. I'm not a people basher. I don't care if it is you are really clear with the mic. Thank you. I've had this mic for months. I think Luciana was saying that earlier. And I told Luciana, I said, Luciana, I had this mic for months. I rarely use it. Because my mouth is loud. My mouth is loud already. So I'm like, I don't be needing a mic. But when I talk about things like this, I most likely will use the mic because I have to get my point across. And so yeah. Again, I hope nobody clicks on here thinking I'm bashing anybody because I'm not. It's all about commending Nick Cannon for sharing that. I commend him for sharing and being vulnerable enough to share with the world that, he went to therapy and he was diagnosed with being a narcissist. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. I think so. I feel like I don't know if some people just don't like therapy and that's okay. But therapy is very, very helpful Like, I feel like you need to know about yourself. Like, I've been to therapy. I need to go back, to be honest. I actually need to go back. I do. I have one so I can go live in my tractor. Oh yeah, you definitely need one on your lives because the tractors be loud. Yeah, you definitely need one because the tractors be loud. But therapy can be helpful. I mean, it's okay if you don't believe in therapy, if you don't want to go to therapy, it's okay. It's not for everybody, but it can be very helpful to your life. Very helpful to your life. It can make you find it can help you figure out things about yourself that you didn't realize so that you can change it. It's okay. We're all human. We all got things, right? Mm. Lips dry, y'all. Lips dry, lips dry. But yeah, baby, this is not. I know people probably see the title and think it's a bash session. No, no bash. I ain't bashing that man. I commend that man for being vulnerable enough to talk about it on the Breakfast Club, a whole big national platform. You get what I'm saying? And people like me who be vulnerable, I get looked at as weak. Weak get viewed at as weak. So that's why it touched me as well because um I love the fact that he, like I said, I love people who are able to be vulnerable and don't, hide themselves from the world. It's not for everybody. Everybody don't share, things they've been through. I get it, but baby, it's a big deal if you can get on this platform and be vulnerable. It's a big deal. If you can get on any of these platforms and be vulnerable, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. I had never gone to therapy. You may one day if you feel like you need it. You may not need it right now. But one day you may feel like you need it and I'm just sharing that it's nothing wrong with it. That's all. It's nothing wrong with it at all. It's nothing wrong with it. I got some things out of it the times I did go, the sessions that I did have. I figured out some things about myself and it's okay. Again, I need to go back. I definitely need to go back. I definitely need to go back for sure. I definitely need to go back for sure. For sure. And I keep saying it, and I probably will. I probably will, because that's what I don't have it all figured out about my life. I need to figure out some things about me and why. I do. I need to go back. Hello, Chevy Addict. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the live. If you missed, you got to go back from the beginning, Chevy Addict. I did a whole. I was doing PowerPoints and everything. I was doing PowerPoints and everything. But just to sum it up, I saw an interview earlier today with Nick Cannon on the Breakfast Club, and I found it very interesting. I'm not here to bash anybody. I'm here to commend that man for being vulnerable enough to share the fact that he was diagnosed with being a narcissist. So yeah, that's why I'm here. So you'll have to go back and listen from the beginning. But I have been to physical therapy for my knee. Oh yeah, that's different. That's different, young rancher. That's not that. That's physical therapy. That's physical therapy. Like you said, physical therapy. So the other therapy will be different. The other therapy will be definitely different. So yeah. But yeah, y'all. I like I told y'all before, I don't get on here and talk about celebrities all the time. It would have to be something that touched my heart for me to talk about it. I'm not one of them ones that get on here and bash people because that's just not me. Hold on, y'all. All right, so Lord Kelvin said, "Everything good tonight, Black Mom. Everything is good tonight, Lord Kelvin. Everything is good tonight, Lord. Everything okay." Let me put some Vaseline on my lips. Hold on, y'all, because Jesus, they dry. All right, so let's see. Um, anyway, congrats, Chevy. Congrats. You should have that tonight. You should definitely have that tonight. You'll probably have that tonight. So congratulations. I got surgery on my left knee, and now I had to get surgery on my right. The same thing happened to me. Ooh, that's a lot. That's a lot of physical therapy, young rancher. Wow, that's a lot of physical therapy. I'm sorry, y'all. I had to put the mic back up. I forgot I had the thing plugged in. Y'all know I never use a mic, but I felt it was needed tonight when I'm talking about something serious. When I'm talking about something serious. So, yeah, man, this was a kind of like a heavy topic for me because I felt like I dealt with this recently. Just to be 1,100% honest with you. And again, we have to take a look in the mirror at ourselves because we definitely can carry some of these traits. Now, a lot of the things that I said don't necessarily mean that you are in fact a narcissist, but you could have some of those traits. Now, what it said was if you constantly have those traits, you could very well be a narcissist yourself. So, well, all I'm saying is like take a look in the mirror, and it could be unintentional, but listen, if you look in the mirror and have a lot of those traits and it's constant, we have, I'm gonna say we, let me put me in the mix too. We put myself in the mix. Let me not just be so quick to point the finger. Like I said, taking accountability for our own actions and the way we act and do things. We need to take a look in the mirror at ourselves, and we could have some of those traits. Again, don't necessarily make you specifically a narcissist. However, if it's behaviors that you're doing all the time and constantly, you could very well be a narcissist, right? Again, when Nick said it, Charlemagne was shocked because Charlemagne thought that it was only people who lack empathy and people who have rage. That is definitely part of being a narcissist, but it's also many, 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 many. I'm sorry, many, many, many other traits as well to being a narcissist. Not just lacking empathy and not just having rage. It's way more traits. Way more traits is what I was doing when it happened. Oh, football. Oh, Lord, yes. I'm sorry to hear that, young rancher. My goodness. I hope you're able to play again. I mean, I hope you're able to still play because I'm sure that's what you love doing. I hope you're still able to play and that didn't hinder you. That's not hindering you from doing what you love. But yeah, guys, that was I had to come on here and talk about it. Like again, I don't get on here and talk about celebrities all the time. That's not my thing. But ever so often, if I see something, because I watch interviews all the time. I watch the Breakfast Club all the time. I watch the Breakfast Club all the time. I watched the interview with them and Dame Dash. That was off the. Bro, that's another whole conversation. The one with them and Dame Dash was off the chain. I wonder if any of y'all saw that. That one was off the chain. My goodness, my goodness, my goodness. But yeah, again, if you're just getting here, you're gonna have to rewind because I did go down a rabbit hole of narcissist behaviors that again I'm just not pointing the finger. We need to take a look in the mirror and see if we have some of those behaviors. Again, it don't automatically make you a narcissist. However, if you exude a lot of those behaviors constantly and all the time, you may very well be a narcissist. I mean, it is what it is. Like, again, Nick was able to get on that big platform, that national platform, and admit it. And I commend him for that. I commend him for that. I commend him for that. And that's just what this live is about. Like, be able to admit your faults in things. Be able to admit when you're not right sometimes. I feel like I myself can do that. A lot of people won't ever do that out loud because they want to look like to the world that they're perfect. When none of us are perfect. All of us have flaws. Everybody has flaws, baby. I have to wear a brace for my knee. I am playing right now. Oh, okay. So you can still play. You just have to wear a brace. Well, I'm happy, young rancher, that you're still able to do what you love, and that did not hinder you from being able to play football. I'm so happy to hear that. I'm so happy to hear that. But yeah, football is definitely a strenuous sport. So I understand why that happened playing football. So I'm happy for y'all. I really am. But yeah, y'all, we're gonna have 10 more minutes on the stream, 10 more minutes on the stream, and that's it. Because again, I don't talk about celebrities all the time. And when I do, I don't want to make it a bashing session because that's definitely, if you watch the live, you can see that's not what this is. I actually commend him for being able to talk about that and being open with that to the whole world. Because a lot of people will never ever do that. A lot of people won't look in the mirror and say to themselves, damn, I exude narcissist behavior myself. A lot of people will never do that. Will never do that. And this is why I said we have to take a look in the mirror and like all those traits that I ran down to y'all. I told y'all I can be dismissive sometimes. When something is too much for me, I can be dismissive. And that's not good all the time. It depends on the situation. It's not always good that I do that. It's not. I can admit that. When you take a look in the mirror and admit yours, ask yourself that question. Listen to all the things that I said. Shoot, look it up yourself. Look it up yourself. If you don't want to listen to what I said in this live, look it up yourself. Do you exude some of those traits? Do you exude some of those traits? Take a look in the mirror. Don't be so quick to point the finger and call someone else a narcissist when you could definitely exude some of those traits yourself. Again, let me repeat. If you exude some of those traits at times, it don't necessarily make you a narcissist. However, if you exude those traits constantly, you could very well be a narcissist yourself, okay? I'm just saying. I'm just saying, y'all. We gotta, like I said, we gotta take a look in the mirror. We gotta take a look in the mirror at ourselves at all times. We cannot be so quick to point the finger. We just can't. And we do. Let me speak for myself. I have. I've definitely gotten better with that, though. I definitely take accountability for things that I do, things that I accepted, things that I have allowed, right? So that's why I was able to admit with you guys, I can be dismissive sometimes when something is too much. And that's not always good. That's not always a good thing. I can be dismissive. When you take a look in the mirror and admit yours, Young Rancher said that takes a lot of nerve. Yeah, it does. I mean, honestly, I'm 45, so I'm just to the point now where there are certain things that I'm willing to talk about out loud, and it's okay. It's okay. Now I've learned to keep things to myself as well. Like I can't be too open on here because people are crazy. I can't be too open on here now. I'm open, but you do have to keep some things to yourself. You know, you do have to keep some things to yourself. You do. I've realized that. I still share a lot though, because I'm like, baby, life is life. I'm not the only one experiencing certain things. A lot of us experience a lot of the same things, and me talking about it out loud could possibly help somebody else. Like I get the comments all the time. I get the comments all the time where people tell me, I admire you for being able to be open and talk about whatever certain thing I'm talking about that day. And I appreciate that they acknowledge that to tell the world. Hey Tony Bands, welcome. How you doing tonight, Tony? Tony, you're gonna have to watch the replay because I went down a whole rabbit hole of what I was talking about. But again, to sum it up, I watched the interview earlier with Nick Cannon and Charlamagne the Guy. I watch the Breakfast Club all the time, and I felt like I wanted to commend him for being able to admit that he was diagnosed with being a narcissist. So you gotta watch the replay, Tony, if you just get here. I went down a whole rabbit hole. We only on here for 6 minutes. We only on here for 6 more minutes. We only here for 6 more minutes, so we're gonna get off here. Chevy Addict says some people have their pride. Yeah. Definitely prideful people will never admit that they have some of those traits. Chevy, you're right about that. Prideful people will never admit that they have some of those traits that I talked about. Charlamagne, like I said, let me say this one more time for the ones that's just coming in. Charlamagne, when Nick Cannon told him that he was diagnosed with being a narcissist, Charlamagne was shocked and was like, but you don't lack empathy and you don't spew rage all the time. And Nick Cannon had to tell him, like, it's not only that, it's way more traits to be labeled a narcissist. It's way more traits, way more traits. And so that's why I was telling y'all all the traits that could possibly mean that you are yourself a narcissist, or you have a lot of narcissist traits. Again, a lot of those traits don't necessarily mean you are in fact a narcissist. It But if you constantly have those said traits, you could possibly be a narcissist yourself. Let's not be so quick to point the finger. Let's not be so quick to point the finger to others. Let's not be so quick to point the finger to others. I have to. Tony speaking to Young Rancher. Young Rancher, I have to go. I have got. Okay, Young Rancher, thank you for being here. I appreciate you being here. Hello, Black people are the chosen. How are you doing tonight? Welcome, welcome. Hello, blessings. Hello, and blessings. Yes, don't point. Yeah, we shouldn't be so quick to point the finger. And Black people are chosen, or is speaking to everybody. Yeah, and Chevy says, "Chill out, Lord." Okay, and you, I won't complain. I actually had a topic to talk about tonight. Black people, you're gonna definitely have to watch the replay. You know, if you want to see what I was talking about. But if you've seen the title, if you see the title in the thumbnail, I watched the interview with Nick Cannon and Charlemagne the God earlier, and Nick Cannon admitted to the whole world that he was diagnosed with being a narcissist, and I commend that brother for that. I commend him. So I hope people don't think that I'm on here looking at the thumbnail thinking I'm in here bashing him, because I'm not. I'm not a celebrity basher. I'm not. Because guess what? Celebrities are human too. What I am doing is commending that brother for being able to be open to the whole wide world. Like that he was in fact diagnosed with being a narcissist. And again, Charlemagne thought narcissists only meant people that have rage and lack empathy. It's way more traits to being a narcissist. So I just feel like we should all take a look in the mirror at all those traits that I listed and everything like that. And we all may have some of those traits. Like some of those traits, again, don't necessarily, I'm saying it again for the people that's just coming in. If you exude some of those traits at times, don't necessarily make you a narcissist. However, if you constantly have some of those traits, you could very well be diagnosed as a narcissist. It is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. And so that's why I commend Nick Cannon for being vulnerable enough to admit that. Admit that. And this is why I say therapy is good. I know a lot of people don't believe in therapy, and a lot of people will never go to therapy, right? But therapy is good because it definitely can make you realize some things about yourself that you didn't understand that you were doing, or how you were acting, and things like that. And that's okay. If you want to grow in life, why wouldn't you want to know some things that you could be doing wrong? If you want to grow in life, why wouldn't you want to know some things that you could be doing wrong and that you could change to make it, to turn it around so that you won't be there, or you could change some of your ways, But yeah. Again, I don't talk about celebrities all the time. It's every now and again. And for me, it will never be a bashing session. It will never be a bashing session, because some people get on here and bash celebrities as if celebrities are not real people. So when I do talk celebrity content, it will not be a bashing session. It will not be a bashing session. I'm just not one of them ones. I'm just not one of them ones, y'all. I'm just not. This is a choice that I make, because we could all get on here and talk about celebrities to get more clicks and views, right? No, this is something serious, actually, that I'm talking about. So, yeah, when I talk about a celebrity, it's going to be something serious. Like it has to touch my heart for me to talk about it. It has to touch my heart for me to talk about it when it comes to a celebrity. And again, I'm here to commend that brother for being able to admit the fact that he's been diagnosed with being a narcissist, and he's working toward changing his ways. It's nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing wrong with that at all. So y'all, I'm getting ready to end this live. I did only want to be on here for an hour. It's been an hour. So thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you all. Anybody who catch the replay, make sure you comment on the replay. If you catch the replay, please make sure you comment and let me know what you think about it. Okay. Again, before I end this, shout out to Nick Cannon for being a commendable person and being able to share with the world that he was diagnosed with being a narcissist. And again, let's take a look in the mirror at ourselves, guys, because we could have some of those traits as well. And I'm saying we, yes, we. I'm not Xing myself out of it. I'm not Xing myself out of the problem. Be we always pointing the finger, and we need to look at ourselves. We always pointing the finger, and we need to look at ourselves. Clock it. All right, y'all. But I'm getting ready to end this live. Thank you guys for being here, and I'll see you guys in the next live stream. Oh, let me plug myself in. Don't forget to go watch my latest content, my latest videos. Last night I posted a video about the woes after monetization. The woes after monetization, child. Because I was going through it yesterday. I'm like, dang, as soon as you get monetized, they start just doing stuff. And you don't be understanding, like, what's going on. You just don't be understanding what's going on. So, go check that video out for me, guys. And, again, thank you so much for being here. Shout out to all my CGs. I appreciate y'all so much for showing up for me every time. And I will see you guys in the next live. And Black People Says goodbye and blessings. And Tony spoke to Chevy, and Black People spoke to Chevy. All right, y'all. I'm out of here. See you guys next time. Later.